You know what I've learned? Too many people spend their whole lives waiting for the right time, waiting for the right opportunity, waiting until they feel ready. But let me tell you something. The right time is never coming. The stars will never line up perfectly. The fear will never disappear. And if you keep waiting, you'll wake up one day realizing that life passed you by. Stop waiting. Start doing. Because your dreams are not going to chase you. You've got to get up, step out, and make them happen, you know. One of the greatest lies we've been taught, one of the most dangerous illusions people fall for, is the idea of perfection. We grow up believing that before we take a step, everything has to be lined up just right. The money's got to be there. The timing's got to be right. The fear's got to be gone. The conditions got to be perfect. And so what do? We wait. We wait for life to roll out the red carpet and say, okay, now you're ready. But let me tell you something. Perfection is a trap. It's a prison dressed up to look like wisdom. It convinces you that standing still is safer than moving forward. But the truth is, waiting on perfection will rob you of your destiny. Think about it. Think about the stories of the greatest people you admire. They didn't start from perfect. They didn't wake up one morning with all the answers, all the resources, all the knowledge. No. They started broke. They started uncertain. They started afraid. But they started. You know the story of Apple, right? The company that changed the world. It didn't begin in a state of the art office with millions of dollars invested. It started in a garage, a dusty garage. They didn't have perfection. They had a vision, and they had the guts to act on it. Look at Oprah Winfrey. She didn't wait until she was perfect to walk into that studio. She didn't wait until she had every ounce of confidence and security. She stepped into spaces she wasn't fully prepared for, and she learned on the way. And Michael Jordan, he wasn't even good enough to make his high school varsity basketball team the first time. Imagine if he'd said, well, I guess I'll just wait until I'm perfect. We wouldn't know his name today. See, perfection is the dream killer. It keeps you polishing your plans, rewriting your goals, fixing and tweaking and preparing until you run out of time. Because the truth is, there is no perfect moment. There is no perfect version of you that magically appears one day. There is only now. Only the moment in front of you. I'll tell you something personal. When I was younger, I thought the same way. I thought, I'll wait until I know exactly what to do. I'll wait until I feel completely ready. But life taught me quick. If you wait to feel ready, you'll wait forever. Ready doesn't exist. You become ready by doing, by stepping out into the unknown, stumbling, falling, and learning how to stand back up. That's how you grow. And here's the secret: the people you think are perfect, they're not. They're just people who had the courage to act before they felt prepared. They figured it out as they went. They built the plane while flying it. The world doesn't reward you for what you plan to do. It rewards you for what you actually do. Nobody remembers the person who had the best idea and sat on it. They remember the one who acted, who brought that idea to life, who wasn't afraid to put it out there, even if it was rough, raw, unfinished. Because progress beats perfection every single time. So let me ask you, what have you been waiting on? What dream are you holding hostage because you think you're not ready yet? Maybe it's a business idea. Maybe it's writing that book. Maybe it's going back to school, changing careers, starting a fitness journey, telling that person how much they mean to you. What's stopping you? 9 times out of 10, it's not resources, it's not time, it's not talent. It's that little voice saying, wait, it's not perfect yet. But here's the truth: imperfect action is infinitely more valuable than perfect inaction. That messy first step, it's worth more than a lifetime of perfect intentions. Because action creates results. And even when those results don't look like success at first, they create growth, they create experience, they create wisdom you can't get from waiting. You see, perfection is safe, or at least it feels safe. If you never start, you never fail. If you never step up, nobody ever criticizes you. If you never take a risk, you never get hurt. But here's the problem: if you never step up, you also never win. If you never risk, you never grow. If you never try, you never live. Safety isn't living. Waiting isn't living. You weren't put on this earth to hide behind excuses and call it preparation. You were put here to create, to build, to stretch, to stumble, to get back up, and to leave your mark. And that doesn't happen in the comfort of waiting for perfect conditions. It happens in the fire of action when you move before you're ready. Perfection tells you, once I get this degree, then I'll be ready. Once I have this much money saved, then I'll start. Once I feel confident, then I'll take the leap. But guess what? When you get that degree, you'll still feel unprepared. When you save that money, you'll still think you need more. When you wait for confidence, you'll realize confidence only comes after you act, not before. So I'm telling you right now, perfection is not the goal. Progress is, growth is, action is. Done is better than perfect, because done moves you forward. Perfect keeps you stuck. Let me leave you with this picture. Imagine you're at the end of your life, looking back. Do you want to remember how perfect your plans looked on paper? Or do you want to remember the imperfect steps you took that led to an extraordinary journey? Nobody lies on their deathbed wishing they'd waited longer to start. They wish they'd started sooner. They wish they'd had the courage to move before things were perfect. Don't let that be your story. So stop waiting for everything to line up. Stop polishing and planning until the moment passes. Step out. Start messy. Start scared. Start broke, but start. Because perfection is a trap, and if you keep chasing it, you'll never move. But if you let it go and you take action instead, you'll unlock the life that was waiting for you all along. You know what most people don't understand? Success isn't about waiting for the big break, the one magical chance that changes everything. It's not about luck. It's not about sitting still hoping someone notices you. No. Success is built on motion. It's built on action. And the thing about action is this: the moment you start moving, something powerful begins to happen. It's called momentum. Momentum is the invisible force that takes a small push and turns it into unstoppable energy. But here's the thing: you don't get momentum by standing still. You don't get it by waiting on opportunities. You get it by moving, by acting, by doing something even if it's small. Let me paint you a picture. Imagine trying to push a car that's parked. It takes everything in you just to get that first inch of movement. You're sweating, you're straining, your legs are burning. But once it starts to roll, once you've broken through that resistance, suddenly it's easier. The car starts moving faster. Your effort pays off. That's momentum. And life works the exact same way. The first step is the hardest. The first action feels the heaviest. Because when you start from zero, everything inside of you screams, "Stop, this is too hard. Go back to comfort." But if you can push through that first bit of resistance, if you can take that step when it feels heavy, you'll notice something amazing. Each step after gets a little lighter, a little faster, a little smoother. And before you know it, you're moving with power you didn't even know you had. That's why action matters more than intention, more than talking, more than waiting for inspiration, because action breeds more action. Energy feeds energy. Momentum grows when you keep moving. Look around at the people you admire, the ones who inspire you. They didn't start out with momentum. They built it. They took small actions, daily actions, sometimes invisible actions. And over time, those small steps turned into unstoppable force. Think about a writer. The first page of a book feels impossible. You stare at the blank paper, you think of 100 reasons why you can't do it. But if you write that first messy paragraph, the words start to come. The story begins to flow. The book writes itself because momentum carries you forward. Think about working out. The first day in the gym feels like torture. The weights are heavy, the treadmill is brutal, your body is screaming at you to quit. But you show up again and again, and momentum kicks in. Your body gets stronger, your energy grows. What felt impossible last month feels normal today. That's the power of momentum. The tragedy is too many people never give themselves a chance to feel it. They take one step, they feel the resistance, and they quit. They say, "It's too hard." No, it's not too hard. It's just the beginning. Every beginning is hard, but beginnings are meant to be hard because they prepare you for what's ahead. Momentum rewards those who stay in motion. You don't need giant leaps every day. You don't need to change your life overnight. You just need one step, one phone call, one page written, one workout, one small act that says, "I'm moving forward," and then another, and then another. Now, let me tell you something personal. Early in my career, I had doubts. I thought, maybe I don't belong here. Maybe I should wait until I know more, until I feel stronger. But then I realized if I kept waiting, nothing would happen. I had to get moving. I had to take roles I wasn't sure I was ready for. I had to step into spaces where I felt uncomfortable. And each time I moved, even when I stumbled, momentum carried me forward. Doors opened. People noticed. Opportunities came. Not because I was sitting still, but because I was moving. See, momentum attracts opportunity. It attracts people. When you're in motion, when you're doing, people see it, they feel it, they want to join you. They want to support you. But when you're standing still, nobody can help you. Nobody can push you if you won't even take that first step. And here's the truth. Momentum doesn't care if you're perfect. It doesn't care if you have it all figured out. It just needs movement. It just needs you to start. Because once you do, it multiplies your effort. What feels impossible at first becomes second nature later. What once took all your strength becomes your warm-up. But you've got to break through that first wall of resistance. That wall that says, it's too heavy. It's too much. You're not ready. That wall is lying to you. Push once, push twice, push 3 times, and you'll break through. And when you do, the momentum will carry you further than you ever imagined. Let me give you a warning, though. Momentum works both ways. Just like positive action creates positive energy, inaction creates negative momentum. The longer you wait, the harder it gets to start. The more you delay, the heavier that car feels. Days turn into weeks, weeks into months, months into years. And suddenly you're stuck, not because you can't move, but because you've trained yourself not to. That's why you can't afford to delay. You can't afford to wait until tomorrow. Because tomorrow has a way of turning into never. The best time to act is always now, not when you're ready, not when you feel like it now. Because here's the thing, momentum is your friend. Once it's on your side, it makes the impossible possible. It makes the difficult easier. It makes you powerful beyond your own belief. But it doesn't show up until you take that first step. So ask yourself, what's the first step you can take today? Not next week, not next year. Today. What call can you make? What idea can you put on paper? What door can you knock on? What habit can you begin? Don't think about the mountain. Don't think about the finish line. Think about the first step, because that step is the spark. That step is the beginning of your momentum. And once you've got momentum, once you're moving, nothing and nobody can stop you but you. So stop waiting. Stop overthinking. Stop standing still. Start moving. Start doing. And watch how momentum transforms your life. You know what holds most people back? It's not a lack of talent. It's not a lack of opportunity. It's not even a lack of resources. The thing that stops people dead in their tracks is fear. Fear of failing, fear of looking foolish, fear of being rejected, fear of the unknown. And here's the truth nobody wants to hear: fear never goes away. I don't care how successful you are, how much money you make, how many people applaud you. Fear still whispers in your ear. It says, what if you're not enough? What if you fail this time? What if they laugh at you? Fear doesn't disappear with achievement. Fear doesn't fade when you make it. The only thing that changes is you. You outgrow your fear. You get stronger than it. See, people waste their lives waiting for fear to vanish. They say, I'll take the leap when I feel braver. I'll try when I'm not scared anymore. But let me break it down. If you wait until you're not afraid, you'll be waiting forever. Because fear is part of the process. Fear shows up every time you step out of your comfort zone. It's proof that you're stretching, that you're growing. Think about it. The first time you rode a bike, were you fearless? No. You were shaking, wobbling, scared to fall. But you rode anyway. You fell, you scraped your knee, you cried. But then you got back on, and the more you rode, the less fear had power over you. Did fear disappear completely? No. But you got better. You got stronger. You outgrew it. That's how fear works. It never leaves, but you get so strong, so experienced, so focused, that fear becomes background noise. It's still talking, but you're not listening. Let me tell you something from my own journey. When I first stepped onto a stage, I was terrified. My heart was racing, my hands were sweating. I thought, what if I forget my lines? What if I mess this up? What if they don't believe in me? Fear was loud, fear was real, but I didn't walk away. I didn't wait for courage to magically appear. I stepped out there trembling, and I did it anyway. And do you know what happened? The fear didn't vanish, but I outgrew it. Each performance made me stronger. Each stumble made me wiser. Each victory made me bolder. That's the lesson. Courage isn't the absence of fear. Courage is action in the presence of fear. Anybody can act when they feel safe. Anybody can move when there's no risk. But true courage, true greatness, that comes when you move forward while you're afraid. Think about every person who ever made history. Martin Luther King Jr. wasn't fearless when he stood in front of thousands, calling for justice. Rosa Parks wasn't fearless when she refused to give up her seat. Nelson Mandela wasn't fearless when he fought for freedom. They were human. They felt fear. But they acted anyway. And that's why they changed the world. See, fear is like a shadow. It follows you everywhere. You can't outrun it. You can't erase it. But you can outgrow it. You can learn to walk taller so the shadow no longer covers you. You can learn to shine brighter so fear no longer defines you. Let me make this plain. Every time you face your fear, it gets smaller. Every time you avoid it, it gets bigger. Fear feeds on avoidance. The more you hide, the stronger it becomes. The more you confront it, the weaker it gets. It's like a muscle. The more you train, the stronger you become. So the question is, what are you running from? What fear has been controlling you? Maybe it's starting that business because you're afraid to fail. Maybe it's speaking up because you're afraid of rejection. Maybe it's leaving a toxic situation because you're afraid of being alone. What's holding you back? You need to understand, fear doesn't vanish with time. Fear doesn't fade because you wait. Fear fades because you act, because you stare it down and you say, you don't own me. You don't decide my destiny. I know some of you right now are waiting for the feeling of bravery before you move. But bravery is not a feeling. It's a decision. It's saying, yes, I'm afraid, but I'm not letting fear run my life. And here's the beauty of it. Once you push through one fear, you gain strength for the next. Once you outgrow one fear, you stand taller for the next challenge. And before you know it, the things that once terrified you become the things you do with ease. But you've got to start. You've got to lean into it. Let me leave you with this image. Imagine standing at the edge of a cliff about to jump into water. Your heart is pounding. Your mind is screaming, don't do it. You hesitate. You wait. The fear grows louder. But the moment you leap, the very moment you push off, the fear transforms into exhilaration, into freedom. That's life. Fear before the leap, freedom after the leap. But you'll never feel that freedom if you never jump. So stop waiting for fear to go away. Stop waiting to feel fearless. You'll wait forever. Instead, act. Act afraid. Act uncertain. Act trembling. But act, because courage is not built in the absence of fear. It's built in the presence of it. And if you remember nothing else from this, remember this: fear will always be there, but it doesn't have to control you. You are stronger than your fear. You are bigger than your fear. And the moment you step forward, even with fear on your back, you'll realize the truth. Fear doesn't go away. You outgrow it. You know, when we're young, we walk around like we've got forever. We act like tomorrow is guaranteed, like we can put our dreams on the shelf and come back to them later. I'll start next year. I'll chase that dream when I've got more money. I'll try again when I'm older, wiser, freer. But let me tell you something, and I want you to hear me clear. Time is not on your side. Tomorrow is not promised. Next year is not guaranteed. You don't get to press pause on life. The clock is ticking whether you move or not. See, the biggest illusion we live under is that we have time, that we can afford to wait. But waiting is dangerous. Waiting is a thief. Because while you're waiting, life is moving. While you're hesitating, opportunities are expiring. While you're telling yourself, I'll get to it one day turns into never. How many people do you know who talk about what they're going to do? One day I'm going to start my business. One day I'm going to write my book. One day I'm going to chase my dream. Years go by, and that one day never comes. Not because they couldn't, but because they thought they had time. You don't have time. You have now. That's it. This moment, this breath. That's what you're guaranteed. Nothing more. I've stood at funerals. I've seen caskets lowered into the ground. And let me tell you, at the end, nobody cares how perfect your plan was. Nobody cares about the dreams you thought about but never acted on. All that matters is what you actually did, the lives you touched, the risks you took, the legacy you built. And regret is the heaviest thing you can carry. Failure you can bounce back from. Rejection you can recover from. But regret eats at you. Regret whispers, you had the chance, but you let it slip. And the sad truth is, most people aren't defeated by failure, they're defeated by regret. So I'm asking you right here, right now, how much longer are you going to wait? How many more excuses are you going to tell yourself? How many more years will you give to fear, to comfort, to procrastination before you realize the truth? Time is running out. See, we think we've got time because we measure life in years. But life isn't lived in years. Life is lived in moments. And those moments slip away faster than you realize. You blink and a year is gone. You blink again and a decade has passed. And the saddest words you'll ever say are, "I thought I had more time." Think about the opportunities you've already missed because you hesitated. Think about the chances you didn't take because you thought you could do it later. Where would you be right now if you hadn't waited? Who could you have become if you'd started earlier? That's why I'm telling you, stop wasting time. Stop treating tomorrow like it's guaranteed. Because while you wait, somebody else is out there moving. While you hesitate, somebody else is out there building. And 5 years from now, you'll be standing in the same place, watching them live the life you wanted, all because you thought you had more time. Listen, time doesn't stop for your excuses. Time doesn't pause while you get ready. Time doesn't slow down while you figure it out. It moves whether you move or not. And if you don't take control of it, time will control you. Let me give it to you plain. Every day you wake up, you are closer to the end. That's not negative. That's reality. Every sunrise is one less sunrise you'll see. Every year you celebrate is one less year you've got. That's why the people who achieve greatness, the people who leave a legacy, they move with urgency. They understand the value of time. They don't waste it. They don't take it for granted. They use it. And here's the difference between successful people and everyone else: they act now, not later. Not when it's comfortable. Not when it's easy. They act now because they know tomorrow isn't guaranteed. I remember hearing something once that stuck with me: the richest place in the world is the graveyard. Why? Because it's filled with dreams that were never pursued, books never written, businesses never started, songs never sung, ideas never shared, all buried, all wasted because someone thought they had more time. Don't let that be your story. Don't let your dream die with you. Don't let your vision go to the graveyard. Use your time now. Start now. Move now. You might say, "But I'm not ready." Let me tell you, you'll never feel ready. But I'm afraid. You'll always feel fear, but it's not perfect. It never will be. The only thing you really have is time. And it's slipping through your fingers with every second you hesitate. So let me ask you, if you knew you had 1 year left to live, what would you do differently? Who would you forgive? What risks would you take? What dreams would you chase? Whatever your answer is, that's what you should be doing now. Because you don't know how much time you've got. Life is short, and tomorrow is a luxury. The clock is ticking. Every tick is a reminder you don't have forever. So stop waiting. Stop delaying. Stop wasting the one thing you can never get back. Because at the end of your life, you won't be measured by the time you had. You'll be measured by what you did with it. So I'll leave you with this: time is not on your side. The question is, are you going to waste it or are you going to use it? You know, anybody can dream. Anybody can get excited about an idea. Anybody can write down goals on paper, talk about visions, post about what they're going to do. But let me tell you the truth: dreams don't work unless you do. And what separates the ones who achieve from the ones who just talk? It's not luck. It's not talent. It's discipline. Discipline is the bridge between your dream and your reality. It's the daily decision to show up, to do the work even when you don't feel like it, especially when you don't feel like it. See, motivation is easy. Motivation is that rush you feel when you hear a powerful speech or see something inspiring. Motivation is good, but it's temporary. It fades. It burns out. What carries you when motivation dies is discipline. That's the difference. Motivation gets you started. Discipline keeps you going. Think about an athlete. On game day, the lights are shining, the crowd is cheering, the cameras are rolling. That's exciting. But greatness isn't built on game day. Greatness is built in the dark, in the early mornings, in the quiet hours when nobody's watching. Greatness is built when that athlete wakes up sore, tired, unmotivated, and trains anyway. That's discipline. Think about a student chasing a dream. It's easy to feel motivated on the first day of class when everything feels new. But discipline is when they study at 2 a.m. after working a shift, when they keep going semester after semester, when they fight through exhaustion because the goal matters more than the comfort. That's discipline. Think about anybody who ever built something great. It wasn't done in one day with one burst of energy. It was done brick by brick, day after day, with discipline. The problem is, too many people want results without the routine. They want the success without the sacrifice. They want the reward without the work. But you can't cheat discipline. You can't shortcut consistency. If you want it, you've got to show up for it every single day. And let me tell you, discipline isn't glamorous. It's not flashy. It's not Instagram worthy most of the time. Discipline is waking up when the alarm goes off, not when you feel like it. Discipline is saying no to distractions, no to excuses, no to comfort when comfort is calling your name. Discipline is boring sometimes, but boring builds greatness. You want to know the truth. Talent is overrated. There are millions of talented people who never achieve anything because they lack discipline. Talent can open the door, but only discipline keeps you in the room. I've seen it in my own life, in my career. People ask me, Denzel, what's the secret? The secret is there is no secret. It's discipline. It's showing up prepared, focused, committed, even when nobody's clapping, even when nobody notices, even when it feels like the grind will never end. Because here's the thing, consistency beats intensity. Anybody can work hard for a day. Anybody can push themselves for a week. But discipline is about what you do over years, over decades. And those small, repeated actions, they compound, they add up, they build momentum, they create mastery, they transform you into somebody unstoppable. Let me break it down. You don't get fit by going to the gym once. You don't become wise by reading one book. You don't build wealth by saving money for 1 month. You get fit by showing up day after day. You become wise by reading, learning, and reflecting consistently. You build wealth by managing your money with discipline over years. Success is not an event. Success is a process, and the process is built on discipline. But here's the hard part. Discipline means sacrifice. It means giving up comfort. It means missing out sometimes. It means delaying gratification. And that's why most people quit. They want easy, they want fast, they want results now. But nothing worth having comes without sacrifice. Nothing lasting is built overnight. So the question is, how much do you want it? Do you want the dream bad enough to stay disciplined when it's hard? Do you want it bad enough to wake up early, to stay late, to keep grinding when nobody's watching? Because if you do, nothing can stop you. But if you don't, no amount of talent, no amount of motivation will save you. And let me tell you, this discipline doesn't just build success. It builds character. It builds integrity. It builds confidence. When you keep a promise to yourself day after day, you learn to trust yourself. You learn that you're capable of more than you thought. And that changes everything. See, discipline isn't just about the outcome. It's about who you become in the process. It's about turning yourself into the kind of person who can handle success, who can sustain it, who can carry it without breaking. Because success without discipline, it falls apart, but success built on discipline, it lasts. Now, I know somebody out there is thinking, but it's hard. Yes, it is. Discipline is hard, but so is failure. So is regret. So is looking back on your life and realizing you wasted your potential. Choose your hard. Discipline is painful in the moment, but it pays off in the future. Regret feels easy in the moment, but it destroys you in the future. Which one do you want? I'll tell you something my mother used to say. Ease is a greater threat to progress than hardship. You don't grow when things are easy. You grow when things are hard, when discipline is required, when you push through resistance. So let me leave you with this. Don't chase the dream without committing to the discipline. Don't talk about what you want if you're not willing to put in the work day after day, because discipline turns dreams into reality. At the end of the day, it's simple. Do you want it or don't you? If you do, show me in your discipline, show me in your consistency, show me in your actions, not your words, because dreams are free. But discipline is the price you pay to make them real. And if you're willing to pay that price, if you're willing to be consistent, if you're willing to sacrifice, then there is nothing that can stop you. I'll leave you with this. You've got a choice. You can keep waiting for the perfect moment, for the fear to fade, for the stars to align, or you can start doing right now with what you have, where you are. Because the truth is, the only thing standing between you and the life you want is the action you refuse to take. Stop waiting. Start doing. The world is not going to hand you your destiny. You've got to go out there and claim it.